truth lies before you, if only you'd be willing to look. Socrates once said, "Know thyself." This statement is a call to introspection and self-reflection. By taking the time to examine our own thoughts, feelings, and actions, we can gain an understanding of what drives us and what makes us tick. This can help us make better decisions, improve our relationships with others, and ultimately live a more fulfilling life. The goal is to achieve self-mastery because it is the path to life mastery. And the way to do that is very simple. Develop and increase your self-awareness. Now, in order to do that, you're going to have to take a good look in the mirror. The mirror is a metaphor for introspection and self-reflection. So the same way a physical mirror can reflect our physical appearance, life can reflect our thoughts, beliefs, and actions back to us, allowing us to gain insight and learn from our experiences. So to give you an example, here's a recording of me a couple months ago when I looked into the mirror.
And what I realized is that, right, once you break it down like that, right, what am I scared of? Okay, public speaking. Why are you scared of that? Oh, I don't want to feel ashamed, rejected, embarrassed, whatever. Okay. You really see how dumb that is. Like, well, you're scared of talking because of what people are going to say, of how people are going to see you. Like, first of all, if you care about that much, it's because that's how you see yourself. And I don't want to see myself as that, you know? I don't want to be embarrassed of myself. I don't want to be ashamed of myself. I love myself, and I'm going to love myself. And that's why I feel myself.
So what I was sharing in that video, despite the terrible audio, was a visual portrayal of my mirror. I stated the what, fear of public speaking. I stated the why, fear of rejection, criticism, and embarrassment. I stated the where did it come from? Somewhere throughout my childhood, a teacher or a parent criticized me harshly for opening my mouth and told me to shut up when I was expressing myself. And the lie that formed was that my voice doesn't matter. So now what happens when I put it plainly is that I can look at it objectively. I get to see what the lie is. I get to decide whether I want to continue to agree with that lie or if I replace it with the truth. I get to identify where did it come from. If I didn't say it for myself, why am I believing it for myself? I get to now choose a new belief, a new truth that serves me in the life that I want to live. Anais Nin says, "We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are." So now all of life becomes a mirror. Everything people say, everything that you do, now becomes an opportunity for you to look at yourself. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's going to be easy, but what I will tell you is that it is crucial to your growth. So now with every interaction, you're going to have to take a step back and look at yourself. Look at your thoughts, see what's coming up. Look at your emotions, see what you're feeling. See where it came from. See the ties, see the triggers, see what it was that they said that pushed that point in you. This type of awareness requires you to look at yourself objectively. Because in order to learn yourself, you must leave yourself. So what awareness is able to do is give you power over your story and power over your narrative or that inner conversation that you have that says, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. And what it does is gives you the ability to detach yourself from it. So now instead of you holding those thoughts so personal, so close to you, you can look at them and say, hey, maybe this isn't real. Or at the very least, maybe I don't want to agree with it, right? And right there is the power. That's the freedom. And let me give you a secret. Here, come. You are not your thoughts.
Huh?
Yeah. You're not your thoughts. For the simple fact that if you're looking at it, how can you be it? If you're looking at your thoughts, how can you be your thoughts? Let me give you an example. If I'm looking at this marker, how can I be this marker? It's the same way with your thoughts. The only thing is that because they're in your mind, you think that they're you. No, 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 no. That's not it.
This ain't it, Chief.
Now you're probably like, what are you talking about? You just said that I'm not my thoughts. But then before you were saying that my thoughts guide my life. While you are not your thoughts, you become what you habitually think. For example, say the thought of me being ugly comes into my mind. Whether somebody said it, I read it somewhere, let's say it entered my mind. I can either let it pass, let the thought go through, and by not thinking about it, I no longer have to attach myself to it, and I don't have to identify with it. But now, if I keep telling myself that you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, now I'm going to have that belief system. I'm going to identify with that thought, and now I'm going to live my life in accordance with it. So with awareness, the mirror, and what I'm offering you is freedom. Freedom over your thoughts, freedom over what people say about you, freedom over what you may have heard, freedom over all. So now the truth lies before you. Notice, not in front of you. The truth is not in front of you. The truth is before you. Meaning the truth is not external. It's not out here. It's internal. It's within. So now I ask you to learn yourself. Like the great Socrates said, know thyself. Learn your likes, your dislikes, your passions, your pet peeves, your insecurities, your vices, everything about you. Because in order to master yourself, you must know yourself. Now, don't lie to yourself. Don't play yourself, all right? That's why I told you it's not going to be easy, because you're going to have to admit some things that you didn't want to admit. You're going to have to look at some things that you did not want to look at. But let me tell you, that's where the growth is. So don't just scream cliches in the mirror, all right? Don't try to make a whole incantation about this. For my religious folk, don't just quote random scriptures. You know who you are, all right? Because those are just ideals. That's not your reality. Scriptures are our ideals. Who we are is our reality. Now you have to be honest about both of them. These are my ideals. This is my reality. This is my truth. Jesus says the truth shall set you free. And you can never be free until you're honest with yourself. James chapter 1, verse 23 through 25. For if anyone only listens to the word without obeying it, he is like a man who looks very carefully at his natural face in a mirror. For once he has looked at himself and gone away, he immediately forgets what he looked like. But he who looks carefully into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and faithfully abides by it, not having become a careless listener who forgets, but an active doer who obeys, he will be blessed and favored by God in what he does. So James compares the Bible to a mirror. As you study the word and look at it as a divine mirror, you will see yourself as you really are. James outlines 3 mistakes people make when looking into the mirror. Number 1, they merely glance at themselves. You don't just look into the mirror one time and think you know it all. You have to constantly study and learn. You have to be a student of the game. And that's the problem many believers have when it comes to reading the word, where they just read it to read it just to check off a to-do list in their religious activities. But when you read it to understand, to learn yourself, you get to the root of your deepest needs and who you really are. And that right there is how you grow spiritually mature. Number 2, they forget what they see. And this is just being honest with yourself. Don't pretend that it's not there. Nobody's perfect, which I'm still reminding myself of. And last but not least, number 3, for my religious folk, they fail to obey what the word tells them to do. As Christians, we think that hearing is the same as doing, but it is not. That's why we have so many conferences, so many committees about church growth, but make no progress. Now, there is nothing wrong about committees and conferences, but they are sinful if they are a substitute for service. Those were 3 things to avoid. Now here's the 3-step formula to succeed. Ask, admit, accept. Ask the tough questions, admit the real answer, and accept the truth. It's that simple, but it will require time, attention, and sincere devotion. And that's all she wrote. Who is she? Anyway, the beginning of your life starts now.